Alright, what up y'all? So I finally got my drip tape here and I'm ready to run it. I got my main line on the right and my drip tape on the left. Now if y'all have never used drip tape before, you're wasting your time farming without it. I'll show you what it is over here where I already got it set up. But all it is it's got emitters every so often and it just drips out. So it's just this lay flat tube and then it fills up with water and it drips out every so often, and it's awesome. So I got 2,000 feet of it I ordered right here in this roll. So we got 2,000 feet of it here. Now I want to give y'all a quick word on this. This is 2,000 feet. Okay, this is Toro aqua-traxx, 5/8, 8 mil thickness. That's how thick the tube is, like the material. 12-inch emitters. Every 12 inches it drips. 0.45 gallons per minute per 100 feet. And this is a 2,000 foot roll. So I know that's a lot to take in. But basically at 8 psi, you can see right here. At 8 psi, it'll drip 0.45 gallons per minute per 100 feet. Now at 10 psi, which is what I'm going to be running at, it's going to be like 0.5 gallons per minute per 100 feet, which matches the drip tape I already have over there. So every 12 inches, it'll put out water in a pattern. Another 12 inches, it'll put out water, and it'll cover the space in between. So if y'all want links to any of this stuff, make sure to check out the links in the description, because I'll link y'all up to this stuff. I got this on Amazon, and it was a good deal on there, and they got it to me, you know, prime, 2-day shipping, so you can't beat that. And you can get this in all different emitters, all different, you know, lengths, 15,000 foot, 7,500 foot rolls, 5,000 foot rolls, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of different sizes you can see there. But for what I'm doing is I'm using the 12-inch spacing, because that's the best spacing for me. You know, I plant my cucumbers 12 inches apart, tomatoes 18 to 24 inches apart. You know, you can go 36 inches apart. They're all multiples of 12, so it makes it real easy because you can see the watermark and just plant there. You don't have to measure it all. So this is 2,000 feet here. That's a 100-foot run of mainline. And I'm going to connect it up over there, and so that it's or right here, so that it's all one zone. And you know, you can calculate all that stuff to make sure you're good on the zones and stuff. But you can see I got my rows all drawn up here, and I got a little furrow dug in all of them, and I'm going to bury this stuff so that it doesn't, you know, slide down the side. When it fills up, it kind of moves. That way it waters below and above, you know, it seeps through the whole row. It doesn't get damaged by rodents or cultivation, and it puts the water right in the ground like you have, you know, buried irrigation. So I'm going to bury it in these furrows. Now you can see I had to sweep the rows back so I could get extra footage here, because where I am, you know, I wanted 50-foot runs, but that wasn't going to happen, so I kind of had to sweep them back. It's kind of, you know, not ideal, but it's going to have to work. So I'm going to get this drip tape run and put in the ground, and then we'll be back here. Alright, so you can see I got some of my drip tape runs already laid out right here, and I got to have a mainline tubing to connect them to, so you can see how they connect in like that to the mainline tubing. Well, that mainline tubing is what carries all the water to everything. It's the mainline. So I got a roll right here. This is 100 feet. This is a 100-foot roll. I got this at Home Depot for 22 bucks. Now this is 100 psi water hose. I don't know what it's for. Well, irrigation, well pumps, irrigation, stuff like that. What I normally use is this white stripe pipe right here, and it has that nice white stripe down it so you can pop all the connectors in here. This was impossible for me to find locally, so I had to go with this, and I went with 100 psi because it was as thin as possible, because you know, the really thick stuff is impossible to puncture to put your fittings in here. And you know, this 100 psi, I looked up the specs for it. It's comparable to this, so, you know, in wall thickness, so it's not super thick, so it should be good. But I'm going to show you what we do here with this. You can see I have this whole bag of fittings, and what you do is, where's my tool? I set my tool down, but I'll show y'all when we get to it. You get a tool and you pop holes in it and you stick these things in there. And then the drip tape connects here and this goes in the main line. So you want it kind of thin so it's easy to work with and to stick these things in there. So I'm gonna get it ran. I'm gonna run it connected up to that main line, which is regulated over there. It's gonna come around here, come around, and then go over here, and it's all going to connect into that. So let me get this ran, and then we'll be back and I'll show you all how to connect everything up. All right, so now we're going to put our fitting on here, and I'm going to show y'all, and I apologize if there's wind noise in advance, but here's the fitting. This is a 0.400 fitting. They make 1/4 inch ones, they make smaller ones, but I have the bigger ones. So we're going to pop it in here and then connect it up. So you get a punch tool like this, and you can see it holds the little piece so that it doesn't fall into the tube, and it's just a punch. And then if you mess up or want to plug it in the future, they make these goof plugs right here, and you just pop those in the hole. Now it doesn't like being at an angle, you know, but I got to do the best I can with what I got here. So it's going to be a little bit of an angle, you know. It's ideal to have it perfect, but when you're farming in the mountains, nothing is flat, nothing is straight, nothing is even. So it's just, you know, you got to work with it, what you got. So we're just going to put this on here. You can spit in the end of here or something, you know, to get it to go on there easily, but you just put it on there. Okay, now that one's done. Now it's done. Now to do the ends, I'm going to go down to the end and I'm going to show you how I do the ends. All right, so now we're going to do the end of the run here. And what I like to do is I fold it, I bend it over like that, fold it up and fold it up on itself and cut a piece of main line, just scrap, like a 1-inch piece like that, and slide it over it. Now they make flush caps, they make ones that just go on there and button it up like that. I don't like to use those. The way I like to do it is like this, because it's cheaper. All right, now it's done. Now you just do the rest of them and then you're good. All right, now we're gonna fill in the furrow. All right, so you can come back by hand with a hoe or whatever, or your machine, and just bury it like that. I wanted it deeper than that, but you know, I can only get it so good with what I've got. You know, if you have a machine that can get it deeper, or, you know, a wheel hoe or something that can get it deeper, then you're better off that way. All right, so I got all these runs right here, and then I'm gonna bury them, and then we'll be back here to see what it's looking like. All right, so you can see I got it all buried. It's all buried now, and now I'm going to cap the inline and then pressure test it and then plant some plants. All right, so now to cap this, this right here is just, you know, I got the coil here. I haven't cut it yet. I'm going to just pressurize it like this to test it. So what you do is you get this piece, bend it back, and there, it's capped off. You can see it's capped just like that. Now I'm gonna go pressure test this thing. All right, now while my irrigation pump's running, I wanna talk about some of the advantages of drip tape. You know, just off the top of my head, conserves water, puts the water right where you want it, to the root zone, keeps the moisture off the leaves, so it keeps the disease pressure down, keeps the moisture right in the ground where you want it, so it can kind of dry up over the top and keep the moisture at bay, so the fungal diseases and stuff don't splash up on the leaves and cause a problem. You know, it's easier than a lot of stuff. You know, if you have a big garden trying to water it by hand using sprinklers, that's no good and it wastes a ton of water. Disease, or we already went over disease control. Weed control. So you see right here in between these rows, the water is just gonna be where the drip tape is. You know, it'll soak the whole row, that's fine. But the walkways, like how I'm doing it, they'll stay dry. So the weeds aren't gonna have a chance to grow there because there's no water there unless it rains. So that helps control weeds like you wouldn't believe, because it cakes up, and this is clay, so it really cakes up, and the weeds don't grow there. Another advantage is you can inject fertilizer if you're not doing organic, or if you are doing organic, if you have water soluble fertilizer, you can inject it with a fertilizer injector, and you can get it right to the root zone. You know, at a central location, you can inject it and get it where you want it. Let's see what else. You know, it's just the way to go as far as I'm concerned. You know, it takes a lot of the worrying and the watering, and it just optimizes everything and makes it awesome. So I'm probably forgetting stuff. Oh, another thing is that those drip emitters are every 12 inches. So what I'm doing right now before I plant stuff is I'm turning it on and letting it run. That way it'll leave watermarks, you know, water circles every 12 inches, so I can just walk and throw plants down. I don't have to use a ruler or do any of that time wasting stuff. I can see where the water's coming out, put it right in the ground, and it'll be sitting on its own emitter. So it'll have one emitter per plant, so that way it totally soaks it down. So those are just a bunch of advantages I can think off the top of my head. This isn't really, you know, 100% how to, you know, from the pump to the everything, but this is just how I set up my drip tape stuff. So I'm about to plant some stuff here, and then that's going to be the end of this video. But I gotta wait until these rows fill up with water so that I can see where to plant them. So I'll be back in a second. All right, guys, so you can see I got everything planted here. It's spaced 12 inches apart. I already shut the drip tape off, but you get the idea. You can just put your stuff 12 inches apart. It makes it way easier. See, 12 inches, those emitters are on 12-inch spacing. So it makes it way easier, because then you just go down it, you know, every 12 inches, you see water, and you put your plant right there. All right, y'all, so I hope this helped y'all out. Obviously, you know, if you're doing a smaller scale, it's not really feasible to, you know, do the whole drip tape thing, because you have to kind of buy it in bulk, so it's expensive, you know, to get it going initially. But if you're doing, you know, like large scale farming, or like I'm doing, you're doing a lot of square footage, then you run into a problem of how you're going to get so much water, you know, to the plants. If you use sprinklers and stuff, then you got to deal with disease pressure, because you're getting the moisture on the leaves and not directly on the ground to the roots where it needs to be. You don't want the leaves. You want the leaves to stay as dry as possible. So, yeah, so drip tape is the best way to go. If you're not growing stuff with drip tape, then you're completely wasting your time on a large scale, because you're wasting a lot of water and a lot of time. I know it's more expensive initially, but once you get it going, then you can see it's way better. So, all right, y'all, thanks for watching. So if y'all enjoyed this video and you had no clue what drip tape was before, then make sure to drop me a huge thumbs up down below. And don't forget to check out the links in the description, because I'll link y'all up to all the supplies, you know, I used in this video, because you'll never find drip tape in big box stores. This stuff's hard to find unless you live in like a agricultural heavy, you know, agricultural area. And don't forget to comment and subscribe for more farming videos in the future as the season progresses. Peace.